Welcome
to the Hope Line.
Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
Hey, welcome to the show. I am Dawson McAllister, and I am so glad, so very glad that you're here for us this hour to have your life changed. Rachel?
You can feel better. You're strong enough to look directly at your problems and say, I may not know exactly what to do, but I'm not going to let you win, problem. I'm going to work on you until I get some clarity or you are resolved. Work on your issues or they'll work on you. We're here to help you do just that.
A few months ago, I called into your show and I was talking to someone on the Hope Line about my now ex-boyfriend. Whenever we were dating, it was just a really bad situation.
There I was.
He was 20 and I was 16. He was verbally abusive.
Crying out from the pit of my despair.
Physically abusive.
There you were.
I hid it from my parents and everything.
In the shadows.
And thanks to the Hope Line,
holding out your hand, you made me there.
My life has changed so much because they gave me
And now where would I be?
the confidence to break up with him.
Where would I be? Jesus, you were the voice in the desert, calling me out in the dead of night, fighting my battles for me. You were my rescue story, lifted me up from the ashes, and carried my soul from death to life, bringing me from glory to glory. You were my rescue story.
And ever since then, all my friends they've been starting to become my friends again because he cut me off from everybody.
Well, the Hope Line's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And that we could help you like this is phenomenal. Could have just saved your life.
Yeah, he had a knife to me a few times, so I never told my parents until the people at the Hope Line told me to tell them, and they were really supportive about it.
You can get some great advice at the Hope Line. Thanks so much, Natalie.
You're listening to the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
Brittany, what's going on?
Hi, Dawson. I would just really like to thank you and everybody with the Hope Line because about 6 months ago, I got into a really rough patch in my life, and I almost committed suicide to where I was, locked out of my bedroom, just blood dripping everywhere. And that night, I went to lay down with my grandma, and we were listening, and just hearing you talk, and after a year and a half of me calling the Hope Line, it's helped me out so much, and you and the staff of the Hope Line has pretty much saved my life, and I just want to thank you guys.
Well, that's so neat to hear tonight. I am so glad we could be a part of your life.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. God bless you.
You're listening to the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
Oh, a lot of straight talk there, huh? Well, we're looking for answers. Answers from God can be difficult sometimes, but they work. That's one thing about God's advice, God's counsel, God's wisdom, God's ways. Always, always, always right. We call him righteous for a reason. He's always right. So we're looking for answers for your life. We're looking for you to get support. Come on, we can help you.
The Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
So your mom smokes 2 packs, you're a half a packer,
My brother smokes, and my mom's boyfriend smokes.
and they all live under one roof? Mel, it's time to quit.
I don't know how. I don't know what to do.
I'm selling medicine now that really helps. Now you got the patches and all that. I don't know what the pills are called, but they give you about a 50-50 chance. 50% of all the people that go on this particular pill are successful.
Okay.
So it's time to have a family meeting
Okay.
and say, it's time for me to break the habit. I'm going to go to my doctor and I'm going to find out what kind of patch or whatever will work best for me.
Yeah.
But what can we do as a family to help me kick the habit? But what you're going to have to do is have support from other addicts in the house. And that's when it gets a little sticky.
Mm-hmm.
Notice I said addicts because they are addicts.
They are.
400,000 people a year die from smoking. Do you know that?
No.
That's more than all the drugs, illicit drugs that kill people from overdose. Whatever you want to, cocaine, meth, you put them all together in a hat. 400,000 outweighs all of them. Family meeting. Get to the doctor. Let the fight begin.
This is the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister, and I'm Rachel Cardinal. If you made that commitment to not have sex until marriage, but then you ended up having sex, is all hope lost? No way. Even though you may be upset and disappointed, I want you to know God can meet you right where you are, heal your broken heart, and restore you. God designed sex for marriage to protect you. You know, it wasn't just to make rules that were hard to follow. It was to protect you from heartbreak, from being emotionally tied to someone else, from sexually transmitted diseases. So I highly encourage you to go back to your vow to not have sex before marriage. And just because you had sex, it doesn't mean you have to keep having it. Now, our next caller is dealing with emotional pain, and she's really upset because her boyfriend took her virginity. So let's hear her story. It's a big deal, Talia. Would you tell us what led up to this?
My boyfriend, John, I ended up losing my virginity to him. And then my friend went clubbing with him, right?
You lost your virginity to him?
Yes.
I'm not trying to be, Mr. Perv or something, but was it worth it?
No.
Why was it not worth it?
Because he went clubbing with my friend. He told my friend that it wasn't love, it was lost.
So after he has sex with you,
Yes.
he then went to your friend and said, oh, it wasn't love, it was lust.
Yeah, and he's been trying to hook up with my friend now.
Oh, jeez. Is she going to hook up with him?
They already hooked up.
Oh, what kind of friend do you have?
A bad one.
And your ex-boyfriend, whatever it is, keep him ex. Don't go back to him.
I'm not.
I mean, just ignore him and call it lesson learned.
Yep.
Because, something, you're a cool person.
Thank you. You are too.
I like you a lot, and there's going to be plenty of guys that like you a lot, but make sure that they're guys that are going to treat you right.
Dawson McAllister.
I want to warn you against falling into the trap of being a professional victim. You get hurt again and again, and then a professional victim, you just eventually start to play into it. You expect to be hurt. You feel sorry for yourself. You talk about what's been done to you all the time, and you dwell on the past. When you've been deeply hurt, at some point, you have to decide to work on your healing. You have to face that hurt and pain and abuse that happened to you, and you have to work on your healing. Yes, I repeated that because you have to work on your healing. What happened to you, whatever it is, it's awful. It's horrible and awful, and I wish I could undo it for you. But I can't, and neither can you. But you can get help. It's never going to get unawful if you don't get help. It's never going to heal if you don't open up and let it out. Run to God, surrender to Him, start therapy, talk it out, work on it, or it will work on you.
Issues.
I got arrested for heroin.
Scared to get into a relationship.
I was going through a little trial and tribulation.
And answers.
How can I help you?
With Dawson McAllister.
How can you help me? You have.
More now. What's your story?
It's on.
We're in Oklahoma City, and we're talking with Becky tonight. Hello, Becky. How can I help you?
I live in a small town, and my mom used to be a drug addict, and my dad still is. And it's a small town, so everybody finds out. And my older brother used to do it. One of them, he stopped, and now he's a cop. So everybody's just thinking, okay, either she's going to be exactly like her brother and be a cop, or she's going to be like the rest of her family and do drugs.
Basically, they're judging you. She's
Yeah.
going to turn out just like her mom used to be, or the way her dad is now. Well, you have a lot to prove, don't you? You have a lot to prove that says I'm going to go down the right road. I'm not going to be like my family. I am going to be healthy. I'm going to make right choices. Even though the rest of my family, except for my brother, is really messed up, I refuse to go down that path. The Bible says this in Proverbs 4:18 and 19. The way of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn. You start out saying, I'm going to do the right thing. There's all this darkness around. But you're saying, no, I want to do the right thing. The way of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn, just a little bit of light. But which shines ever brighter. It's brighter and brighter and brighter until the full light of day. People can see everything in the full light of day. So you may start out seemingly in the dark, taking your stand against drugs and craziness. But keep doing the right thing, and the light will shine brighter and brighter But the way of the wicked, Solomon went on to say, but the way of the wicked is like total darkness. They have no idea what they are stumbling over. You're not going to be like the rest of your family. Save your brother. Stumbling, bumbling fools. You're not going to do that. They'll have no idea why they're stumbling, but you will. You can speak the truth and live the truth and walk the truth. And whether people say it or not, saying good things about you or not, God will, because you're doing the right thing.
This is Dawson McAllister.
Hi, Dawson. I just turned 21 in March, and I've been listening to the show for a long time now. It helps to listen to the show because there's a lot of people who are going through issues that I have gone through in my life and had a lot of things that are going on with them that are going on with me at this moment. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate everything that you say and do for these people, and just keep up the good work.
More of your calls
Play next.
on Dawson McAllister.
Did you know that unforgiveness leads to bitterness? And I can't think of a single person that started out in life saying, I'm okay with being bitter. You might have a hard time getting away from it once you're there in the bitterness, but does anyone really say, okay, I'm okay with being hard-hearted, unkind, and bitter? I don't think so. Well, how do you avoid bitterness? The answer is actually simple. You forgive and you ask God to help you to forgive. And you forgive even when the person you are forgiving doesn't deserve it. Because seriously, how often does the person really deserve it? You forgive because it helps you to release and let go of the pain and work towards healing instead of letting that pain build and grow and fester. Also, when you become bitter, it spreads to all the people in your life, the people that you love. Now, Krista is our next caller on the line, and her life's been affected because of her mom's bitterness. And Krista says her mom is not only bitter, but she's also abusive. Krista, what's going on?
Hi. Well, I'm 18 years old now, but when I was 8, I was told I was adopted, and it was a big shock to me.
I bet. How'd you take it?
Honestly, it was the same year that I found out there was no Santa Claus, so the trust between me and my dad just kind of fell apart,
Same year you found out there was no Santa Claus. You found out that your parents were adopted parents, not, I don't want to say real parents because that's incorrect. What would you call them? Not biological.
Biological, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, when I was 13, I started getting into some stuff like the teenagers do. And my dad, because my mom's not around, my adopted mom left when I was 3. And,
so your adoptive mom left you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're 0 for 2 here, aren't you? Your biological mom put you up for adoption, and then your adoptive mom, she split town.
Yeah.
And now she's...
And my dad decided it was time for me to have a woman in my life for, advice and everything. And he was like, I do know your mom. I used to be best friends with her, your biological mom. Maybe it's time for you to meet her. So, I meet her. She comes down. She lives in Connecticut. She came down. And
how long ago was this?
Right before I turned 13.
So here comes your biological mom into your life at 13.
Yeah. And we get along great. We talk about, why I was put up for adoption, and, I have a little brother and a little sister out of it. And I moved up there, and it was just supposed to be for the freshman year. And once I get up there, she's a totally different person. She has this huge temper. She calls my little 3-year-old brother, really bad names. Uses the F word with him, and my mom...
Why didn't you go back to your dad?
I would call my dad, and he would be like, just stick it out. You'll be back in a year. You're just having a fight. I know.
So how long did you hang out with your mom?
I was there for a year and a half.
Longest year and a half of your life.
Yeah.
Well, Krista, how can I help you?
Well, am I going to be just like my mom when I grow up? Is this a mental thing? Or
No, you don't have to be like your mom when you grow up. Your mom made choices along her road in life, and they were the wrong ones. She chose to be bitter. She chose to have a foul mouth. And she's angry. And there's some people she hasn't forgiven. Now, the way that you could become like your mother is not to forgive her. And so what you need to do, I'm going to send you my Hopeline staff to start the conversation, is say, okay, how can I learn to truly forgive this woman so that she no longer has the emotional bent over me? So the short answer to your long question is, forgive your mother, then you will not become like her. You focus on her weaknesses long enough, you will become like her, because we are what we think about the most.
Now, Here's another direct message from Dawson.
I want to ask you a question. Someone asked this of me a long time ago. I never forgot it. If you knew you had 24 more hours to live and then you were going to die, what would that last 24 hours look like? What would you do during those 24 hours? That's a heavy. I bet I'd try to make peace with as many people as I could, I guess. I would make sure I was ready to meet God as best I could. What would you do? Well, I'd try to, show love to as many people as I could, maybe you say. I'd call people and thank them for what they've done for my life. What would you do? You say, well, that's a heavy question. Why are you asking that? Because you and I do not have any guarantees about tomorrow. We don't know that we could be gone tomorrow. Maybe we're down to our last 24 hours and don't know it. So whatever you were going to do during that 24 hours, do it anyway. It'll be healthy for you, and you'll be ready to go.
Share your story. Get to a better place. This is Dawson McAllister.
What's happening with you?
I've been in a gang since 4th grade, and I just recently, 4 months ago, just got out.
Wow. And lived to tell the story. How were you able to get out?
I ran.
Would they have tried to kill you, or?
Yeah, that's any gang. There's no way of getting out without trying to kill you. I can't sleep over it, for everything that I've done.
You committed crimes? You beat up people? I'm not trying to get you to...
No, you're fine. I'm cool talking about it. Pretty much you name it, and I know everything that I've done is just beyond horrible.
So you've gotten free from the gang, but you haven't really gotten free from the gang because you have not gotten free from the things you did while in the gang.
Right.
So you're still in bondage. You're still in jail. It's just the jail of your mind, which is the cruelest jail of all.
Yeah, that it is.
Okay, so you're carrying all this around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just too much to bear.
Yep.
All right, I've got a couple ideas for you. Number one, you can go to our Hope line and bare your soul there. All right? Staff standing by right now, and they're cool people. They stand with me, and you can talk into the night. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, let's go to a police chaplain. You're going to have to you're going to have to get it all out, Tim. You're going to have to. Your secrets are killing you. You're only as sick as your secrets. And you may have to face consequences here.
And I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right, well, then we'll go to a police chaplain or some minister. And then if they say, and others say, that you get counsel for, that you need to go to the police and confess it, then you do it. Until you do time for the crime, you're going to be forever in bondage.
I know, but you send a gang member back to, or send a gang member to a prison, that's just kind of throwing them back into gangster, don't you think? That's my issue with it, or, I would already been there.
Well, again, I would rather, and I know this sounds wild, but I would rather be in prison for what I did and have a clear conscience than to be in prison in your mind.
I understand that.
And there is specialized help out there for former gang members, and I'd go search it online. So tell me now, what do you think? Where are we in this conversation? What do you think now?
I'm open to any ideas, honestly. I might go to the police station tomorrow.
Ask for the chaplain first.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
All right. So just don't go in there half-cocked. Let's get some support around you. Let's get some. I'm trying to give you wise advice here, and I think I am.
You are, and I'm very appreciative of it.
And there are spiritual issues. That's why I said chaplain. In a sense, there's something with God about all this.
Yeah, but that's my other issue, that I never, being in a gang, you're doing so much that is sinning, I think that...
Well, Tim, that was then, this is now.
I know, but I feel like I've done unexcusable things.
I understand that. And that's why it's going to take a while to work things through. I'm just saying there's a spiritual element to this as well.
Now, more of the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
Remember, the hopeline.com is here for you. If you're dealing with emotional pain, which we all do at some point in our lives, if you're feeling like you don't matter, or you don't know how to adjust to life after quarantine, or maybe you want to deal with that childhood abuse or trauma that you experienced so you can move on with your life, come to us here at the Hope Line so we can care for you. Chat with us any night of the week. We're open every single night of the week, Sunday through Saturday. You can chat at thehopeline.com.
The reason I called is just trying to be more positive outlook, because I used to be like an extremely positive person.
In the dark and all alone, growing comfortable. Are you too scared to move and walk out of this tomb?
I would just look at the glass half full instead of the glass half empty when it came to anything. I think when I get put in certain situations in life, that all tends to go downhill into a little spiral.
You have a negative perspective on life.
Exactly. But that's not me, and I know that.
Well, who else would it be?
Take a breath, you're alive now. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus?
Let me just say this. One of the things you need to work on is positive thoughts. And this is really basic, but here's a positive thought. I am deeply loved. Here's another one. I am determined to become loving to people around me. I have a lot to offer for people at work. People need me, and I want to be there for them. And just get with a counselor, just come up with them, put them on 3x5 cards or whatever, and just go over those thoughts so that we flush out all the negatives going on in your mind and put in positives.
The Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
When you come from a big family, you can easily feel ignored and like you don't get enough attention from your parents or maybe even your grandparents. I was just talking to a friend of mine who has 2 sisters, and she says she remembers when she was younger telling her sisters, "I wish there was only one of us." And one of her sisters would say, "Of course, and you wish it was you, right?" And she would say, "Yes." So I know we all have that desire to get a lot of attention from our parents. And it says here on my screen that Jessica, who's on the line, feels ignored. So, Jessica, you have 11 kids in your family?
Yes, there are.
And what number are you?
I am the 9th child.
What is that like? Who's taking care of you? Is your mother really taking care of you?
Well, the older kids, they're all older and they have their own kids. So it's just kind of like we all take care of each other a little bit.
So how do you feel about your mom?
I guess you could kind of say that I resent her. My little sister is deaf, and for as long as I can remember, my mom has favored her more than the rest of the children.
This is the baby of the family.
No, she's not the baby, actually. She favors my little sister over the baby.
So you feel like with 11 kids, she's still showing favoritism, and it's very clear who it is.
It really is very clear. We got a new house when the older 7 moved out and all got married. When we moved into the smaller house, we had an extra bedroom, and my mom and my dad decided that my little sister needed a larger living area so that she could have all of her, all the things that because she has a TV and her own computer and all these other special equipment for people who are deaf.
Well, now that explains some of it, Jessica. A deaf child takes a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And here your mother is, by choice, has 10 others, and plus this deaf child,
yes,
which would be a drain on anybody's time and emotions.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to talk with your father, start there, and say, what can I do? What's going on? How is it that I have such a shaky relationship with her, empty relationship with her? Please help me understand. You ask for just a few basic things and are grateful when you get them. Talking with her once a week.
Yeah.
But to carry this on, she's overwhelmed. She's not as young as she used to be.
Yeah.
How many are at home now?
4.5. there's 4 of us that live at home, and then there's one brother who occasionally stays at the house.
Well, you need a mother figure in your life that you need to go look for where you are. An older woman you can talk to and relate to like a mother. We need to cut her some slack, though. She's probably going through all kinds of things, emotionally and physically. You're going to have to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem.
Hopeline. Hopeline. You're listening to the Hopeline
with Dawson McAllister.
Hello, you're on the air with Dawson. How can I help you?
My mom came to me Friday and she told me that I'm very unhappy with her marriage. And this is her second marriage. He's my dad because he's been in my life since I was 5. And I really, really don't want to lose him or that side of the family.
Have you told him this?
No, because she hasn't even told him that she's unhappy. She puts up a front.
She told you before she's going to tell him?
Yeah, she told me before she's told anybody.
Is she for sure going to divorce him?
I don't know. I did hear them over, talking today, and my mom came out of the bedroom crying, and he came out of the bedroom crying, so I left. I just totally left the house. I went and just left the house today.
Crying implies some kind of brokenness, some kind of broken heart.
Yeah.
They didn't come out of the room cussing, throwing things.
Yeah.
Have they tried marriage counseling?
Well, I talked to my mom about that, and she not wanting to do that. She's not wanting somebody to tell her kind of what to do. And because she's a very independent kind of person.
Well, I don't know the whole story, but she could independently lose her family.
I know.
They need to hear from you, one-on-one, as to the devastation that you are feeling over what they're about to do or talking about doing.
Yeah.
Let them know that it's not fair, and don't get the idea that because you're 19, therefore you can cope with it.
I'm about to leave for the Navy, and I don't want that on my head while I'm away,
Mm-hmm. Well, all you can do is what you can do, and what you can do is talk to them about how you feel. We're not going to take sides here. There's plenty of problems to go around, plenty of blame to be had, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I would talk with your stepdad and tell him what you told us, that you wanted him to someday walk down the aisle with it, give you away.
I do. I want both my dads there.
Sure.
One on each shoulder.
Who's helping you one-on-one with this?
Parents-wise?
Well, is there someone, a minister, an older friend, or relative, a go-to person?
I haven't talked to anybody about it because I don't really have anybody to talk to about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it really getting around.
Well, it will.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have to take care of you. Your parents are adults. They can take care of themselves. You have to take care of you. And that means finding a go-to person that you can call morning, noon, or night. It's not your fault. Don't buy into the lie that it's your fault. It's not your fault. Never has been your fault. It won't be. This is a decision being made by your parents. I'm still hopeful if they both came out of the room crying.
Yeah.
Then maybe your mom, maybe she'll soften her heart. Both of them will soften their hearts towards each other and try to make a difference.
I just hope that it's something that they can work out. Everything can be worked out in a relationship.
There's got to be a want to.
Yeah.
You think there's another man in the relationship?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I could never see my mom doing that.
Okay.
And we talk about everything, and, my mom's my go-to person. And it's hard not to go to her.
Yeah. Why don't you let us help you? We have a lot of connects, Julia, where you live. We can get you some help. I'm going to send you to a Hope coach right now. Don't hang up. We're going to take care of that. And we will find a go-to person for you. Mention that to the Hope coach, that we will get you a go-to person, And if you need to talk into the night, we'll talk into the night with you.
Okay.
I'm very moved at your courage.
Thank you.
You're a class act. And your parents need to know that and get this relationship back together, if for no other reason than for you.
Thank you.
God bless you, Julia.
I want to talk to you about grief for just a second. As much as grief hurts, it's actually really unhealthy to avoid it. If you avoid that process of grieving, it typically results in living in a state of anxiety, or you can experience avoidance symptoms, which are like depression or suicidal thoughts. Now, I know grief hurts, and you don't want to add anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts on top of the grief. So when you've lost someone close to you, grief will come, and it's best to fully experience it so that you can walk through that process and work through the emotional pain. Amber's best friend died. She's here to talk. Amber, how's it going with you?
Not so good.
Now, when was it your friend died?
He died right before school. When it first happened, I didn't want to believe it. And the more life went by, the more it got harder. And it's gotten harder on me. Everything and anything will remind me of him. So I can say it's gotten worse.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
What I mean is there are moments in grieving, like a year has passed. There's a year is kind of a marking point, or 5 years or 10 years, or, So this year has kind of caused you to begin to grieve with more intensity than before.
Yeah. And it hurts knowing that he's not here and that he's not around anymore. And 2-3 months ago, I still didn't believe it. I didn't believe it until the second or third time I went to his grave.
That's, extremely slow coming out of denial.
Yeah, extremely.
Did anyone talk to you? Did anyone talk to you about that and letting go and finally accepting the fact that he was dead?
Yeah, my friend that died was also my first crush. And my best friend, it was the same way with her. Her first crush died in May. So she told me probably about 3 weeks ago that I needed to hurry up and accept that they weren't coming back. Because within a 6-month time period, we lost 4 different people that lived in Farmville, North Carolina.
Yeah, but have you now come to the point where you've realized that he's gone and he's not coming back?
Yeah.
Has that been helpful for you as far as getting on with the rest of it? Mm-hmm. Well, coming out of denial will make it worse.
Yeah.
Because denial is a natural novocaine of the emotion, if you will, to protect us in times of horrendous shock and trauma. However, the healing process of your grief has been slowed because you refuse to come out of your denial. And so there comes a time when you finally say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go through these other things, anger and depression and so forth, but I am not going to fight these things. But it's okay to go a whole day without thinking about them. It's okay to go on with life. And to tell yourself repeatedly that it will get better, and not to feel guilty when it gets better. So you don't have to force yourself into saying or thinking, I have to think about him every day. In time, you will not, and that's okay.
This is Dawson McAllister.
I hear you have a oops baby on your hands. How stable is your relationship with your boyfriend?
It's really good.
If he finds out that you've had sex with his brother, how do you think he's going to respond to that?
I think he's going to leave.
If he finds out this baby could be somebody else's, Bobby down the street, just say.
Yeah.
What do you think he would do?
I think he would leave.
If you don't tell him, at least that it might be somebody else's, how will you be able to live with yourself? Would you be able to carry that double lie? Lie number 1, I slept with your brother, but you don't know. Then you got to hope the brother keeps quiet. And then lie number 2 might be his baby.
No, I couldn't live without telling him. But I don't want to lose him at the same time.
Can't have it both ways. You're going to have to risk the relationship to see if you can keep the relationship.
But I want him to hear it from me if he has to hear it. I don't want to hear it from his brother.
What a mess. See, I was thinking you could say to him, look, I slept with another guy, and not say his brother. Because when you say his brother, that's just double pain. But is that deception? I don't want to lead you into deception either.
Yeah, this is tough.
Well, truth is usually the best way to go. I think in the end, you're going to lose him. A, if it's his brother, you're sure to lose him if he finds this out. B, if it's Bobby down the street, he's still going to leave. But if he doesn't know about his brother or Bobby down the street, you're carrying around such a load here that it's going to sabotage you and, mess you around, not to mention your relationship with him.
Yeah, I've never lied to him about anything.
So you got to tell him the truth. At least you'll be able to live with yourself.
Now, the show that changes everything.
It's great. This is the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.
Dawson McAllister.
Got you guys cranked up.
I was just calling to let people know that there is hope out there for people, just if they look at it as if there's a will, there's a way.
He led me out of the desert, brought me into his streams.
I was brought up in a very abusive home. Not much hope is what I saw. It was all I knew, actually. And then the FS came by and took me out of the house.
River of living water, turned my bitter into sweet.
And then I went into a treatment facility for an extensive 4 years. It changed my life pretty much, and then got out at the age of 18. I joined the military, and now it's 2 years later, and I'm out on my own 2 feet, and I think that if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Aaron, it's an amazing story. It's the will to, and even though you've been through some very, very dark days, somehow, by the grace of God, you never quit. And here you are, you've turned your whole life around. Very inspiring. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks for listening to the Hope Line
with Dawson McAllister.
Hello, you're on the air with Dawson. How can I help you?
Me and my son's mom, I'm 19. I have a son. I had him 10 months after I graduated high school. Me and her ended up having a lot of problems and splitting up, and, she ended up cheating on me, and I kept trying to take her back, said, hey, let's make this work.
Is this a girl you got pregnant?
Yes, sir.
Is she taking care of your child now? Who's taking care of the child?
We kind of split it. It's kind of, half and half pretty much right now.
Mm-hmm. She's engaged now.
Yes, sir.
Are you engaged to somebody new?
Yes, sir.
So both of you have a baby between you, but you've moved on to other relationships.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got that. Now, does she want you back?
Yeah, she keeps talking to me and telling me she wants to get back with me, and tell me that she feels like she misses me and still loves me, and knows that she wants to be happy with me, knows that I'm what she wants, and I'm kind of confused as to what I should do, because I've always wanted a family. Ever since me and her had our son, we have been back and forth. It's been good and it's been bad, had ups and downs.
You willing to break up with this girl you're engaged to now to go back to your mama's baby, or your baby's mama?
It's kind of hard. I know that I'm very happy with who I'm with, and I know that that person actually accepts everything about me. They don't. I smoke right now, and I'm trying to quit smoking. And she's helping me quit smoking. And
this is your fiance now.
Yes, sir. With me, I've always wanted a family. My fiance, she loves my son. But there's also a big past with my son's mom and my fiance now. I ended up leaving after I noticed I was done, after she had cheated on me and everything a while back. I ended up leaving my son's mom for this girl, and there was a lot of stuff that happened because she's Arabic, and her family does not accept me. And it's kind of a very rough situation, and I don't exactly know which way to go with it.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Let's take some air here.
Okay.
What I mean by that, let's step back. Call a timeout. There's
Okay.
too much drama with your mama. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Or whichever relationship you turn to, it's drama. And you need just to get whole yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time with your boy. Be nice to your ex. Right now is not the time to get involved again. Just because you want to have a family, that's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Because your girl number one, the one that's carrying your baby, I don't think she's stable.
Whenever we broke up, and I told her I was done, she, has done a lot of things and, threatened to hurt herself because she wanted to take me, she wanted me to stay with her, and then there was a lot of stuff.
Why would you want to walk back into that?
A lot of things that I know that could have been done better. We're a little more mature now as time goes by, and I know that I'll always love her, but I feel like I'm more in love now with the person that I am than I've ever been with anybody.
There's an old song, I'm going retro on you. I can see more clearly now. The rain is gone. You got a lot of rain in your life right now, and you're not seeing clearly.
Yeah.
And that's why let's back up and give ourselves 2 months, 6 months. Don't date anybody. Just get some counseling, get your act together. Then you'll be more clear as to what you want to do next.
If your parent is struggling with depression, it can be difficult to know how to deal with them and how to help them, but there are a number of ways you can support them. You always want to start with compassion. Understand that parenting with depression is really hard, and they probably feel a lot of guilt about how their mental health is impacting your well-being and just the whole family. So being angry with them, putting constant pressure on them by reminding them about their failures, it only adds to their stress. So you can just have a simple conversation. That's a good start. Tell them you love them, that you can see their suffering, that you're here to help them in any way that you can. And then ask them, hey, parent, mom or dad, are you willing to get help? If so, that's really good news because your parent does first have to acknowledge, yes, I am depressed, and they have to accept the fact that they want to go get help. And if they're willing to receive help, the first step is professional counseling. Encourage them to connect with a mental health resource in your area. And we have those available too if you need to find a counselor on thehopeline.com. Talking to a professional will give your parent a much needed outlet for their feelings and concerns. And it also establishes a clear direction for their path to recovery. A counselor or therapist is especially important for a parent with depression because all too often a child, which would be you, can get trapped in the role of the therapist, which is really not healthy for you or your parent or anyone involved. Once your parent is in therapy, keep checking in. Just let them know you love them, that you want them to succeed. Your kindness, patience, and support are going to help them feel motivated to keep doing that hard work of working on their healing. And I just want you to know, be realistic. These kind of things take a lot of time. The depression may never go away, but getting treatment can certainly help you and your family find a more functional way of life. For more help regarding depression, visit thehopeline.com.
What's up with your friend?
He was perfectly fine last year, and he's perfectly fine up until about a couple months ago. He started saying he was hallucinating, he was seeing things. He's not on drugs or anything. It's just, I don't know if it's stress, I don't know if he wants the attention, but he says he's seeing things, he says he's going crazy. The other day, I had to hold him back from punching this kid in school because he had some sort of spastic mind attack thing. I don't even know what to call it.
Hey, Mike?
Yeah?
Your friend's issues are way over your head.
Yeah, I know. That's what's bugging me.
Let's just say he had a brain tumor. You wouldn't be the one doing the operating, would you?
No.
No. There's a saying in the armed services, way past your pay grade. So what are you going to do? You're going to try to get someone to help him that knows how to help him. Who would that be?
He's tried going to doctors before. I mean, otherwise this wouldn't be an issue. His therapist, they've run tests. They couldn't find anything, so they're trying to see if the whole thing's a physical issue. But they just don't know what to do with him anymore either. So I don't know what's wrong with the kid.
We're going to leave this in the hands of God and the doctors.
Yeah.
Be careful he doesn't hurt you.
This is the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister, and I'm Rachel Cardinal. We've got some more great calls coming your way. You know, it's so crucial to face your issues and not ignore them. A problem doesn't just go away because you've ignored it. We've got Gilligan up next who's taking steroids. Gilligan, how are you?
I'm an up-and-coming high school athlete, and just to make myself better and always struggle trying to get better, I recently, about 2 months ago, I started taking illegal steroids. And like now I don't take them. It's like I'm on the edge all the time, like ready to fight all the time.
Yeah, what kind of athlete? What kind of sport are you involved in?
Mixed martial arts, like ultimate fighting. Like the only way I can make myself better, like to get to the next level of ultimate fighting, was to do the steroids.
Yeah, martial arts and steroids don't mix.
No.
You're a walking time bomb, and you could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Kind of black out and boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, somebody's dead or got a broken bone or something.
Yeah. And I don't want it to get that far. I need the help to...
Well, it will. It will get that far. Plus, think of all the things it's doing to you. Not to mention the fact that you're on edge all the time and volatile and dangerous. What's it's doing to your heart and your lungs and other parts of your body. Give me the first name of the guy that's training you.
Alex.
Well, you and Alex better sit down and have a talk.
Yeah.
Just tell him the truth, Gilligan.
All right, because the other day, me and my friend got in like a kind of a heated argument, and hit him a few times, and then I was able to stop myself. But before then, I'd already punched one of my best friends 3, 4, 5 times.
Hey, Gilligan.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that you'll be able to stop the next time.
I know.
You got to get help. You got to get help now. Alex is going to help you.
Dawson McAllister.
Hey, I'm glad you called. What's happening?
So about 2 weeks ago, my ex-boyfriend's best friend, he came to my house, and we were hanging out, and we started to make out, and he was trying to make me have sex with him. And I told him no, because I'm not like that. My best friend, she heard everything. So we all get to school the following week, and I'm just in a bad situation right now. Everybody's been spreading rumors that we did a whole bunch of stuff, and
so he wanted to go all the way, and you said no way.
Yeah.
And your best friend's got your back because she was right in the next room and heard it all.
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Well, once the rumors fly, there's only so much you can do to recover. You know what I'm saying? I forget the story, but there's a story about a man who came to his priest, and he said to the priest, "My reputation has been destroyed. It's something about me has been all over town." And the priest goes and takes an old-time pillow, and he cut the top of it open and just started to shake it. And the feathers went everywhere, and the wind blew the feathers away, and the priest asked the man, he says, what happened to the feathers? He says, it was blown everywhere. And he said, well, that's what happened to your reputation. You'll never get all of it back.
Yeah.
All right, now here's what I'm going to ask you to do, okay? You find 10 people, the 10 people that are the most important to you, that you want to make sure that the story is straight. Write them down, and then go to them one by one and say, I want to tell you the story. I need you to hear the story, and I long for you to know that I did some stupid things. We're not going to try to pretend you didn't do some stupid things.
Yeah.
You tell the top 10, top 15 your story, and after a while, the rest of the story will go away. And even if it doesn't, sooner or later, the truth will come to the surface.
The advice you hear on this show is given with the understanding that the host is not a licensed counselor. The show is best seen as a starting point for what you're facing. You are advised to seek out a licensed counseling professional before taking action in your life. All callers are sent to the Hope Line after speaking with Dawson. By calling in, you are giving your implied consent to be recorded for future on-air broadcast. Thanks for listening to the Hope Line with Dawson McAllister.